Hello and welcome back to Gumade's Coins and Banknotes, and in today's video we are talking about the current coins of South Korea. So in 1962 South Korea had these coins in circulation. They are won coins of a previous currency. They are 10, 50 and 100 won. And in 1962 they revalued the currency, probably because the previous dictator was overthrown and his face is on the 100 won, and his name is Mr. Syngman Rhee, and he was overthrown in a pretty much a military coup in 1960, although it wasn't as bloody as the overthrow of Stroessner in 1989. I think very few people actually passed away. Okay, so the value of the won in 1962 was 125, so that makes this currency 1,250 won equals $1. And roughly, you need to multiply it by 10 to get the equivalent value. So this for modern currency of 2025, this is equivalent to roughly $1. Okay, so at first, in 1962, they didn't issue any coins in the won. They were all banknotes starting with a 10 John. So 10 and 50 John, they're the subunits. So 1 won equals 100 John, like $1 equals 100 cents. But they never issued any of the John coins at all. The smallest they issued was the 1 won, and they started issuing coins in 1966. So here's a 1 won. And these are the current, at the time period, equivalent exchange rates. So they also issued a 5 won as well as a 10 won. And these coins, as you can see, are different. So in 1962, that was removed. So basically, these are the coins in 1966 you would have been using alongside the actual banknotes. So the banknotes of the 1 won was printed up into 1970, also 1970 for the 5 won, and 1973 for the 10 won. So there's quite a good overlap in the issuance of the actual banknote. Okay, so there are several changes in which that were made. So in 1968, they changed the aluminium to an aluminium coin of 1 won, but they kept the design the same. And then in 1983, all the coins that were currently in circulation had a new design. So this was to pretty much standardize the design of all the coins. The 5 won was never changed to an aluminium coin, and while I don't have that coin, the 5 won adopted the design of this aluminium coin here. Okay, the next change was so the 10 won. There was only a reduction in weight in 1970 from 4.22 to 4.06. So there should be a slight reduction in the actual thickness of the coin, but you can't really tell that. Okay, the next change was in 1970 when they issued a 100 won. So that is a little bit different than the current coin. And then we had in 1972 the issuance of the 50 won. So as you can see, the designs are all different. The 1, 5 and 10 are pretty the same. The 50 and 100 don't correspond with the current designs. And the 500 won, so if you've been to Korea, we have a 500 won, which is roughly equivalent to 50 cents, was issued in 1982. And it was the first coin with pretty much the more modern design, in which we just have the denomination, Bank of Korea, the date, and on the back we just have images with the denomination. So, and the reason why they issued a 500 won in 1982 was the value of the currency was roughly about 600 won equals $1. So that was a reduction in value over 20 years from 125 won. So pretty much this was only equivalent to 20% of the initial value of the currency. But currently the currency is quite stable, and I will collect the banknotes and coins. Unlike some other countries, like we have Mongolia, which has continuous devaluation of their currency, is North Korea. Well, North Korea is a mess. So I wouldn't buy their currency unless it pretty much is out of circulation, because then you know it's pretty much worthless. Okay, so the images on these coins are, so the 1 continued with the national flower, that's a Rose of Sharon. The 5 continued with the turtle ship that we've seen in the previous series, and that was a Go Buksion, which is used to defend Korea against the Japanese, which Japanese since the 1500s have been trying to invade Korea, in which they did successfully, but pretty much Korea surrendered in 1905. Okay, the 10 won has a pagoda and a double top, I believe that's what it's called, and it's supposedly built in 751, although it could be from a later period but basically this Shilla kingdom was the time period in which this was actually built. And we had the denomination as well as Bank of Korea. The 51 just has rice, so nothing really specific. The 100 has Yi Sun Sin, and he was a general who defended Korea from the Japanese in the Imjin War in the Joseon period. And he was born in 1545 and passed away in 1598. So really he's only 53. And he's a national hero in South Korea. And we also have the 500 won, and it has a red crown crane, which is a crane that inhabits not the southern part of Korea. So most of South Korea, this crane doesn't inhabit. It inhabits all of North Korea. And it has breeding, which is pretty much up in Manchuria. It has the migratory, which is between Manchuria and East Asia, probably Shanghai is the southern part. Then the non-breeding, which are pretty much just like the demilitarized zone of Korea, as well as around Shanghai. So, and it is the highest valued coin in circulation of 500 won. So if you wanted to buy these, pretty much they're cheap. The current circulating coins and the mintages of these coins are actually quite high. So the 1 won, this is a 1.7 gram, 17.2 millimeter coin, and 1967 had mintage of 48.5 million. So really a common coin, and not surprising if you get it in uncirculated grade for just a few dollars. 1966 had 7 million, and I see that is a pretty scarce coin, and pretty much you'll be paying at least $10 for that coin. There's one on eBay for like $89 US, but really that's a overly expensive coin for one that's pretty common. Then we have the aluminium coins from 1968 to 82 in this design with English. So this is a 1969, has 85 million, and the lowest you're going to get is 1975, 10 million. So yeah, pretty common coin, and really probably about $1 is really all you should be paying for one of these coins. They're just a fairly common coin, and all of these are issued in sets. The 1 won, which was first issued in 1983 in this design without the English, and currently it's only issued in sets, and the last coin was issued for circulation in 1989. 1991 should I say. This one is 1989, has a mintage of 10 million. So really $1 or less you should be paying for it, especially in this grade, which is well damaged. Highest mintage 983 of 40 million. But currently, if you want one of these coins, you need to get them in mint sets. And your lowest coin is 2005 with 38. Actually, no, 2003 with 20,000. Okay, 5 1 from 1966 to 70. This coin is a pretty common coin. The lowest mintage is 1966 of 4.5, and the highest is 1970 with 50 million. And this coin, 1967, is a mintage of 18 million. So really, only $1 or $2 you should be paying for one of these coins. And as you can see, this one is pretty much uncirculated. So in 1970, they reduced the weight from 3.09 grams to 2.95. And these were produced up until 1982. So it is a common coin as well. But the 1970 mintage, we're not too sure how many were minted for the actual Iva coin, because there is an overlap in the mintage. Although the combined mintage for 1970 should be 50 million, we're not too sure how many of each of the weight coins were actually minted. And once again, 1977 had a mintage of 1 million. So this is not a key date. That will be 1980, 81, 82, which only had 100,000. So, but it is low enough that it is pretty scarce to get. And then we have the 1983 to current coins. Once again, like the 1 won after 1991, they were only issued in mint sets, and they're all pretty scarce. The highest minted being 1983 with 6 million coins, and after that they just drop off. And the lowest mintage for the coin sets is 2003, actually 1999 with 10,000. I was going to say 2003, 20,000. Wow, 10,000 is actually quite scarce. But for a coin to be rare, it needs to have a mintage of 2,000 coins or less. Okay, for the 10 won, we have 4 different issues. So we have the 4.22 grams, then we have the 4.06 grams, and then we have the newer design, also 4.06, from 1983 to 2006. In 2006, they reduced the size of the coin, made it, instead of a brass coin like these ones, a copper clad aluminium. So if you look on the side, you can see that there is the brass and there's the aluminium. So it makes the coin very light, and it's only 1.22 grams. Okay, as for the mintages, the 66 to 70 coins, they're all pretty common, with the lowest mintage being 10,600,000 for the 10 won. The next series, 1970 to 82, also pretty common, with only the 1981 being issued in mint sets with 100,000, 1977 with 1 million coins. So this one, 1979, has a mintage of 200 million, and it's one of the higher minted coins. 1972, 270 million. So most of these, except for those issued in mint sets, really $1 or less. Then we have the 1983 2006, which is the larger coin. So we're talking about this one here. And as you can see, the design's standardized like the 500 won. 1983 only had 8 million. So, and then 1991 we have 2 varieties, so thicker values in the digits. So that's one you should be looking for. So this is 1993 of 110 million, so pretty common coin. And from 1997 there's 2 different varieties, so thick and thin numerals. You can find information on that on Numistar. And then we have the reduced weight coin, which is the current coin in circulation. So roughly has a value in Australian dollars of 1 cent. And this one's 2018, it's a mintage of 50 million. These Okay, 2009, 30 million. It looks like to be the lowest mint. And the last mint of this coin was 2024 with 40 million. So really, these are not really of any significant value. Okay, the 51 only had two varieties. So we have both didn't have English, but there is the standardized design and there's the design earlier, which is pretty similar. So this one was issued 1972 to 82, and the mintages were all pretty high for most years, with the lowest being 1977 with 1 million, so that's the key date. This one's 1973 at 40 million, yes, pretty common. And there's only one proof set for 1982, so 1982 for all coins had proofs. Then we have the 51, roughly value is 5 cents, but it's a bit bigger than the 5-cent coin. The lowest mint seems to be 1985 with 4 million for circulation. And this one's 2013, had a mintage of 10 million. Okay, 2014, 1 million. And 2022, 900,000. 2023, 210,000 in mint sets. 24, 160,000 mint sets. 2025, 110,000 mint sets. So they haven't issued any coins from 2021. Not surprising, because it's 5. When you have a denomination of 10, you usually need 4 of them if you want to make change. So some things like 510 won, you gave them 551, you need 4 10 won coins as change. Then we have the last 3 coins that are in circulation. So we have 200 won and just the one design for the 500 won. So the initial 100 won from 1970 and 1982, 5.4 grams of copper and nickel, 24 millimeters. They kept that as well for the next design. 1970, 1.5 million, seems to be a key date. 1981, 100,000, seems to be only issued in mint sets. This one's 1977, has a mintage of 30 million. And 1974-75 has date variety, so check for those. The next coin, issued from 1983, the current, equivalent to about 10 Australian cents. And I do find these in Australia as 10-cent coins sometimes, although not many Koreans actually are living in Australia. They are quite prominent. A few Korean restaurants. So the lowest mintage that I can find, 1998, 5,008,000. Apparently, that's quite a low mintage. And this on 2013, the mintage 220 million. So most of the mintages are up that high. And since 2018, the mintage has crashed. So 2018 we had 30 million. And 2022 we had 4 million, with 21, 23, 24, 25 only issued in mint sets. And then we have the last coin, the 500 won. We have initial mintage of 15 million, then 1983, 64 million. This one's 1991, the mintage of 90 million, so pretty common. And the other coin I've got here is dated 2016. That is a mintage of 136 million. And I'm looking for low mint coins issued for circulation, which is 1 million coins for 1987, and there were no coins issued 1985 or 86. So really, they're the coins you should be looking for. And then you got the mint sets, so 1998, 8,000 mint sets. So I'm not too sure if that's accurate. I thought it would have been at least 100,000, because yeah, it seems 1998 was a low period in coin mintages. But really, most of the years are actually quite common, and mint sets are pretty much what you're looking for. Okay, so I hope this helps you with your Korean coins. So if you go to Korea these days, these are the 4 coins you're going to be used in your change. So, and then there is banknotes of 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 won, which is equivalent to $1 to $50. This is equivalent to 1 cent to 50 Australian cents. So we've got the 10, 50, 100 and 500 won. So we have a historical monument, number 20, the pagoda. We have wheat, staple food source for Asians. We have a famous general and an endemic bird. So that's really not really unifying, but it gives different aspects of Korean society. Anyway, hope this helps you if you're Korean coin collecting. A little bit long and expensive, but we had a lot of coins to go through. So thank you very much. Have an awesome coin and banknote collecting time, and take care.